Right, today I'm going to be putting on some edging tape onto these Wickes self-assembly kitchen units. Not particularly clever because I assumed when we bought the kitchen that the edging would have been put on it. Now, it's not that difficult to put on. I'll show you there's a few tips for it. But it's a bit rough. It's, quite honestly, the quality really isn't there, but hey. That's the way it is. We are where we are. Right. Tools you'll need. Stanley knife with a new blade in it. Do not use any old blade. Go and buy a new pack. Scissors. Nice pair of scissors, although those are just about adequate. They supply the edging tape, self-adhesive. Very sticky. Be warned, once it's on, you don't get it off. Do it once only. A roller. One of those seam rollers for when you finished, when you finish it and you want to just ensure it's fully on the unit, and masking tape to hold it in place when you're going. So really quite simple, but having said all of that, attention to detail is the whole thing. I'll be explaining it as I go along. Okay, right, so the thing to do, what I've done actually on these is I've pre-cut the lengths to about a centimetre longer either end, and I've actually, with a square, that's the other tool you need something with a nice metal edge to it. Could be a ruler, that's fine, and I've actually used the square on a bit of scrap wood to cut the first right angle. You do want everything to be at right angles. You can actually get away with just cutting it with scissors or trimming off from the top when you've put it on. I think it's personal preference really. So what we're doing here, I'll just go through it very quickly and then we'll do it. I'm going to be peeling off somewhere around half an inch, a centimetre of tape. I'm also going to stick onto, or get ready, I'll do that now, some just little bits of masking tape which will be holding it on to the unit whilst we do it. 3 or 4 for a length about, this is 800, 900 mil, 4 pieces is plenty, then you can reuse them as you go along. So we'll be peeling this off, and at this stage now I just want to sort of go through the sort of strategy. This is a wall cupboard, and in fact it's been very nicely edged in the factory in this white. We're going to put on this very rough, rather shoddy I would say, but it's okay, coloured edging, because that's the colour of the units and the doors and the facing panels. It's the colour of the kitchen. So we'll be putting it on down here, like that. We will then, once that's bonded on, I will be trimming it off the bottom. The thing to be wary of, I think, is this tape is marginally thicker, only marginally, but it is thicker, wider than this here. So this is probably about 18.3. This is 18 millimeters thick. And the reason I say this is because I did the base units last week. I've been fitting a kitchen up at my son's house, which has been not without its traumas, but we don't need to go into that. It's coming along nicely. I'm going up this week and maybe I'll post a video from there. But the reason I say that is that the double-sided stickiness of this is so great that this is the inside of the cupboard, and I think it wants to be totally flush with this edge and effectively sticking out on this edge, only a tiny bit. And the reason being, it does pick up, it picks up dust. My son's got a dog hairs were being actually physically stuck to this, which just isn't very good. It's not a problem, and maybe one can trim it off at the end. It's so little of it that it's very difficult to trim. My feeling is that if I let it run over this way and on the bottom of the unit, it's if anything below the level where you put your plates and things, so they don't catch on it and you don't see it. And in fact, the dust and the hair thing's not really a problem. And same up here. So basically, within this unit, make certain that this tape, this edge banding, is flush or less, but not really less, because you don't want to see any white, to the inside of the carcass. Okay, one other thing we need, which I haven't got, I'll get now, is really just a bit of kitchen roll. Yes, you just need a bit of kitchen roll. You must ensure that you need a bit of kitchen roll. And here, so we clean down all of that, all the edges. Doesn't need to be damp, just and I do the corners as well, because if you've got any dust in there, you know, a bit of static electricity could bring it in. So let's go. The thing to do is, oops, peel off about I've got some nails, but I just can't do it. There we are. Somewhere around, there we are, about that amount. That's about what, an inch and a half, so about 40 millimeters, 4 centimeters. And you're going to be using, what you're going to be doing is using your thumb and your middle finger as a guide as you're going down the unit, effectively centering it up and keeping it on track. And your index finger is going to just apply light pressure. You don't need to apply any more pressure than that to begin with, because you are going to be rollering it down with the roller. But this I found really works well. So if this was the unit, you're going to be going down like that, not at that speed, that's a bit quick, but something like that. So this is what I found. We start up here. It's a bit high really, but hey, I did that so I could see. I like doing it standing up. Right, just gently tack him on in the first 5 millimeters so you can still get it off. I do warn you, it really is sticky. Right, get your fingers like this. Here we are, and also let's get some. The reason I masking tape it down is not to. I don't want to stretch it too much. Just gently. That then means that it's going to fall in the right direction. So even if you weren't guiding it, it would be going almost exactly in the right place. So there you see. Do that. Bit of tape on it, which we just take off as we're going down. That's. That'll be okay. Right. It's quite forgiving. One more down the bottom, but I might be repositioning it anyway. So that's what you've got. So with here, this is nice and flush. As I say, you could go over the top and then just trim it. I'll show you the trimming down on the bottom in a minute. And literally, you've got to keep your eyes open. I'm going to put my glasses on because I need to see this. Literally, and don't pull the backing paper too quickly, because if that tears, it's a real pain. You've got to start again. Not start again, but you've got to find the start of the. So gently pull the backing paper. Just gently ease it down like that. Trying to keep this edge away from it, which I haven't done very well there actually. Have to ease it over. I was too busy talking, but hey, doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. As I said, it is quite forgiving, this stuff. Need to go up there, really. Right. And of course, once you've got a door on, 99% of this isn't seen. But I mean, my view is try and get everything right. And then if you do make a small error, it's not going to be compounded by the fact that everything else is not quite right. The last last bit. I'm just going to kneel down and do it. Right, there we are. We're on. It's looking okay. Let's zoom in on this one, shall we? There we are. Then we're going all the way down. So, right, when we get down the bottom, oh, it's long, isn't it, on this one? Right, there we are. We've got, let's bring him around a bit. There. We're now going to use the roller just to roll it gently. I always start with the uprights, I'm not certain why, but I quite like it. In fact, I do know why. That means you can start. You've got a step to start on. Right, that's rolled on. Here we go now with this dandy knife, fresh blade. Make sure it's well down in there. I do not be tempted to fold it over and break it. It does break off. So come to the edge of the panel that you're going onto, not the base of the box that you're screwed into, and just gently, you can take it slowly, slice it like that. So I just want to get the camera in. Oopsie, that's okay. How are we looking? I turned it round. Let's have a look. Oh, that's okay. Right, okay, so there we are, that one's done. The other thing I would say is that, of course, be mindful of where in your unit you're looking. So this is the top of the unit, and this is the bottom. And your eyes are actually going to be about this height. This is going to be covered by, normally going to be covered by a bit of trim. You might consider actually starting from the bottom, because you've got a lovely clean cut here. In fact, this really is not bad at all. You know, it's slightly, you know, could clean it up a little bit more. You know, but who in their right mind goes around the kitchen? That looks superb. Looking for faults. I certainly don't, and I hope none of my friends do either. Right, so let's get on with the next one. What a pre-cut. I haven't got a pre-cut one. I'll do one pre-cut and then we're going to go across to the other. No, let's do it the other way. Let's have a look. Right, okay. So, just for fun. So, here's, they give you plenty with it. That's one good thing, but you know, it's quantity, not quality, I'm afraid. Now then, cut it. Try and cut it really at right angles to the. Let me get this in. Right, try and cut it at right angles, because then you should line straight up with, yeah, let's have a look. You know, well, it's not bad, but we're not going to do that. We're going to actually go over the top. So let's just sort out the old zoom. Right. Okay, here we go round to slightly different technique. Pull off this time a little bit more because we're overlapping. Don't need to overlap by much. So we pull off again about 20 millimeters. Right, that's sticking up over the edge. Yes, we're going to chop him off. You'll never see this because the moulding's going over it. I think you'll find, well, I know, because the moulding goes over this top edge. Okay, so that's sticking over the top. Just check we've got enough. Yep, there's plenty there. Masking tape, just hold it in the place we want it. One there. One there. Remember, you want this edge flush a bit, the other edge not so flush. go. Right, off we go. Where's a bit of, oh, I should have just pulled, you want to get the backing tape out, that's not good. There we are, right. Gently. There we are. Gently. You find if it's going off, which it really isn't, but you can just gently move it either way that it needs to go. It is forgiving, I will, you know, it's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Just a bit down the bottom, so I'm going to just keep it on the straight and narrow. Here we go now. Right, there we are. Time to roll it. Right, stab the knife. Right, there we go. Right, so get it flush. There, almost sort of give it a scissor action. Going down, there's no rush. I used to work in the flat pack furniture industry about, oh gosh, when I was, do you know what, it's almost 40 years ago, but quite honestly not a lot's changed. That looks good. And in fact, I had to say, what's to do it from this side, do it from the stand side. Quite honestly, I don't think too much of the fittings, certainly I found. There's one or two problems, but really, you know, insurmountable. And I think you've got to be flexible. I remember in my day, basically you had these machines. One I remember was called a Morbidelli. I think it was Italian, and you had these drills placed at 28mm centres, so you just chose which drill you wanted. That's why if you measure a lot of these things, they're probably still at 28mm centres. And of course sometimes the drills broke and people didn't like that when they got their flat pack furniture because the holes weren't there. But that was the good old days. In fact, I ran half a factory down in Cornwall for a year making that. So, and as I say, this is not rocket science. Hasn't changed much. These could well, that wasn't very clever. That's okay. These could well be machined on a CNC. I don't know. So I'm just going to try one thing, and that is see if I can just. You see, there's so little, but there's enough just to make it. Yeah, it's not bad. That's okay. You can just feel it. It's not going to affect them when they're all together. It's absolutely fine. So we'll leave it like that. Okay. Now then, the next thing we're on to the up here on the. Let's see if we can just get this around so we can see it. Right, we're on the top edge, and don't forget that. What we want to do is not see any white. So this here has to be a good right angle. Well, I cut that as you saw last time with my scissors, and quite honestly, when you butt it up there, I don't think the camera will get it, but you can't see a thing, so that's absolutely fine. So we're going to butt it up here, and we are going to, again, just have a bit more. Again, cut it at right angles, so that next time you've got a decent chance. You can always recut it, as I say, there's plenty. Right. Of course, I've forgotten which one was the one, but if they're both good, that's fine. If one's not good, Right, that's perfectly good for me. That'll do. No, it's more than that'll do. It's absolutely fine. So, there we go. With masking tape, always tend to lose it, but let's get this in first. Have the bit on top, sort of curling round, you know, like that. Try and have it so that this is flush here. It's there. Alright, just give him a little push on, he's fine. Make certain he's down so I can pull him. Here. That's going to be fine. Okay. Hang him from the top. I need to just break a bit more masking tape. This is, there, I've lost it. It's gone less than sticky, but that's fine. Well, so we're going to go like that. That's plenty, right? Okay. So here we go again. So we're going to go. Perhaps I should have gone from that end, I think, because I'm right-handed, but we'll be okay. I'm going to push. This is the backhand method. Both obviously work, I think. You know, again, we're not putting any force on it really, so it doesn't really matter. However, I'm going to do the next one from the other side because I think it's going to be easier. Just because I'm right-handed, no more than that. Right, okay. That's good, that's good. Just that's alright. Right, now then, do not pull all this tape off. Leave it there. Just a tiny bit sticking on. So this is still, all of this bit from here onwards is attached to the backing tape is attached. And the reason for that is that you do not want it to stick onto the edging that you've already put on. So you take a nice metal edge. This looks a bit rusty, it was left outside. I was actually given this, I think, by my parents. I was telling my son, I think it's about, when I was about 10, I think, that just shows you, so that's 43 years ago, probably 42 Christmases ago. Just shows you they weren't giving away PlayStations at that point, were they? But you know, look where it's got me. Right, so here we go. And all you do, you sort of push this into there a bit. It's a bit high for me, to be honest with you, but hey. Alright. Gently, you need to do about 4. Quite. We've got a. Well, I'll go this way because in fact that's much better. So it's much better with a square. You can go like this. Oh, you see that? No, that's the masking tape there. You go like this and just catch the inside here of the cabinet and keep it out there, and then you can. There we go. Hopefully. There we are. And that, just ease it in there. Not one bit of white showing. So, good. There we go. One them in. Third one down. Last one to go, right? And really can't really feel it there. You just gently feel that up on the top. One to go. So let's just check. We're going to. No, I'm going to keep going this way. It's fine. I think it was the height. So check that. Yeah, absolutely square as a something or other. I don't know what the colour of it. I won't say anything. I'll say something that's not politically correct. So there we go. One there. Same thing, make sure we've got some masking tape floating around. 1, 2, 3. Again. Peel back the tape. Push it in. Make certain it's make certain it's lined up, not easing forwards. Look, you see, you can just easing that is, oh, you can't see it. Right, so now we go, as I say, just make it not flush or lower on this surface. You want it sticking out here. 2. That one, that looks good. Didn't make it visible, thank the Lord I can just see it. Don't forget to keep that pulled out. There, before you start, much easier then. Right, gently. Dropping a bit, yeah, it's just. You can just, if it's starting to drop, you can just ease it up. You know, that really isn't a problem. Let's keep going, I think they're fine. Oh. Alright, again, don't pull too much off, just come to the end there. So again, it's finished. The tape's still attached here. Not the backing tape, I mean. Same thing. Knife down here. Let's get this one in. Right, so the backing tape's still on. It's all stuck. Come down from here. Just ease it in so it's absolutely flush with this side here. Almost there. And there we are. Well, not quite. Just time to roller it on. There you are, 4 edge size. Now, let's get, I think we'll get this camera roving a bit and just show you a few things, because I think, well, in my opinion, let me just get it off. You put these parts in, which into the holes that are pre-drilled. There's one there and one there, and there's a corresponding stud which you can't see. It's because it's blind in this piece. Theoretically, you then turn these. You can see there's that little arrow there. You turn that to point away from the panel, and that should hold them. But when you come to actually do the job, the studs you give are, well, the ones we had were loose. Absolutely terrible, absolutely shoddy in the extreme. But not a problem. Some super glue in the holes, which leave it for 10 minutes so that in the blind holes where you're putting these stud things, not in the dowel holes. And then leave it to go off. It will go off, so once they're in there, they really won't come out. And then I've actually screwed there. That's screwed So drilled through with probably a 2mm drill down 50mm into the chipboard from, so going in that way and ending sort of there with whilst it's assembled with the with their fixings. Then I've drilled a clearance hole. That's not the clearance hole, that's the countersink. It's just gone a bit deep, but it doesn't matter because we're putting facing board on it. Of 4mm, that's the width of the screw, down to the screw, and then countersunk it so that when the screw goes in, it goes below the surface of the chipboard. Now I've done that in 4 places here, bearing in mind that there's also a dowel, so you need to be careful where they go, and 4 places here. You then end up with something that is significantly stronger than that which they've given you. I would use either a 40mm screw number 4 or maybe a 50mm screw. Countersunk, they work very well, they're very cheap. If you've got a couple of, or 2 or 3 drills or screwdrivers, electric screwdrivers, it does make it much quicker. And don't forget, don't drive the screw in too quickly into chipboard or MDF. It's not a good thing to do. It's not a good thing at all to do. What else can I say? I had something on the tip of my tongue. Yes, on the back, these tall ones, they're a bit sloppy. The one thing you've got to obviously ensure is that they are square, and they are inherently made to pull square. But the thing I will be doing on these, let me just zoom out a bit. Alright, so here's the back of it. I'm just going to be putting a little bead of hot melt glue here and here, and probably here and here, which just stops this back rattling. Now again, you can say that's all a bit, over the top, but what it means is you've got a solid, sturdy box that when you put it on the wall, it's going to stay square, and it's going to withstand, some not misuse, but when you are fitting it, it can do. Obviously, you might need to cut some bits out from it. So before you hot melt it, I would make that needs to be your very last operation when you're happy that you've got holes for pipes or whatever, or cutouts for pipes done. So, for example, on this one, which is going to be a bit of a mission, there's a rather lot of pipes in my son's kitchen. I'm going to have to cut this out, go all the way down, and there. That is the only way I can do it, but it will be done neatly. I'm going to replace the bit that I've cut out, probably with hot melt glue, and it'll look very nice. The thing to do is to realise that what's going to be covered and what isn't. So just going back, there's the edging. I don't know how long that took. If I wasn't talking, I think you're talking about once you've done a couple, 20 minutes a unit maximum. The other thing you can do, of course, on the back, if you're unsure, oops, I'm just going to fall over the wire. You can actually you can practice on the back of it, of course, because no one's going to see that, and it will just mean that you've got the confidence to do it, and that when you come to do it properly, or in anger, or whatever you want to call it, you can do. So there we are. I hope that's helpful. But I actually looked on the on YouTube and couldn't find anything to help me. If you like this video, you'll please subscribe. A very eclectic mix of music, like my Genesis, of course. I like playing boogie woogie, and also we've got a pond here. I've got a live pond cam on. That's quite fun. It's on our pond now as we speak. I've got lots of pictures of moorhens nesting. I've even had quite a few views on one of them. So please subscribe. Please please write comments. I will reply to them. I replied, we've got a big pond, and I replied to someone from a video of 10 years ago. We had to clear duckweed of it, and he was absolutely chuffed that it was still the system that he had put forwards, which I used. It was brilliant. It saved our pond from extinction. So let me just go and show you it now. It's a nice little pond. Hang on. I'll go and walk out there now. You will see. Here we are. So, yep, there's a pond cam on that. It's called Hen Pond Cam. And where's the camera? Up there. It's up there. There's the camera. So, hope you enjoy it.